Trysta Krick. And
TK.
What's that bomber doing?
He's just styling and profiling.
It looks good. It's like a satin. There's something stitched on there. We got
it's a Black Panther. Yeah, no, it's fire. Shout out Actively Black. Yeah, it's fire.
My in my
not a Motorhead t-shirt.
I did a social issues and movements class. It was sociology. I had to take sociology. So that was the one that I decided to take. It was all about movements. So it was student anti-war movement, labor movement, and then I did my paper on COINTELPRO and Black Panther.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You still have it? I want to read it.
Probably. Yeah, probably.
One of the hardest organizations to find accurate information on it.
Oh, it was so hard to find the research. There was so much that was redacted too.
Yeah, so much is also whitewashed.
Well,
yeah,
it's like.
Well, I mean, it's very clear. Like you look through, and it's like, well, that's obviously a lie, and it's obviously not true.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about the stuff that actually happened, like that what they talk about in the Fred Hampton murder assassination.
Killed Fred Hampton.
But the way it's covered by regular media or history books isn't.
That's because
how it went down.
That's because the what's his name? The FBI, J. Edgar Hoover.
Yeah, so that's what my paper was all about, Hoover and COINTELPRO, and this is not about basketball, obviously, but
that's what we do. I got Huey P. Newton on my chain right now. That's what we do. But his line was that the Black Panthers are the most dangerous organization to American society. This was an organization that was giving free lunches to poor children, not poor Black children. Poor children.
Yeah.
They were like, no. We've got to shut this down.
Right.
I'm sorry, what? Yeah, they got to shut this down. They had cops. They had Black Panthers following cops with guns because it was legal to carry guns. You know when it became not legal to carry guns anymore? When Black people started following cops around, told, hey, you're not going to beat his ass.
Right.
You ain't going to do that. That's not what's going to happen. Oh, then all of a sudden it was illegal to carry guns out in public. If you ever want something outlawed, just have Black people do it. They'll outlaw it quick.
That's big facts.
Yeah, they'll outlaw it quick. I would rather talk about the Black Panthers for 45 minutes than talk about the Sacramento Kings because Trysta is not good up here in Sacramento. They went to Houston and they stink. And I know everyone knows that Houston has a nice nightlife, but man, I don't think that's our squad. They just got roughed up by Ime Udoka and Dylan Brooks and that crew out there.
I just don't know what's happening. Honestly, the offensive side of the ball is concerning. I was looking at this statistically right before you guys pulled me on, and De'Aaron Fox obviously was balling 31.3 points per game. And then up next is like a 15-point drop off to Domas. That's just, we just can't have that. I think Malik Monk probably needs to channel his inner Cam Thomas. That's really what he needs to do.
Yeah, I'm with that. I mean, they need somebody that's going to be able to create, somebody that's going to get aggressive. Like I said, I need more. Yesterday, the most field goal attempts was 11 in that game. Like, who's putting up the shot? How is anybody going to get the score to the level that they need somebody to score when Fox is out? Putting up 11 shot attempts a night. You know what I mean? They need somebody with a level of aggression, and you would hope that it was Domantas Sabonis. He only put up 4 shots last night.
Yeah.
Like, if it's not going to be him, then yeah, I'd tell Malik, go Malik, go get your 20 shot attempts tonight. Something.
What do you guys feel is the difference? Is it just the injury that brought the vibes down and brought sort of like, what do we do next?
It's not the vibes that dropped. It's the speed of the game. It's the pace. It's everything that they did. And, there was enough sample size last year to where it's like, it's not next man up with De'Aaron out. You can't do that with him. But if everyone elevates a little bit, you continue to play not De'Aaron Fox basketball, but Sacramento Kings basketball, you could survive. Now, through the 3 games that De'Aaron has been out, that pace of play is now De'Aaron Fox basketball and not Sacramento Kings basketball. Because with De'Aaron Fox in the lineup, they're 100 and 30 plus points in those games. I think I did the math yesterday. It was like they were averaging like 125 points per game in the first 3 games with De'Aaron. Then they went to 101, 89, and 97 with De'Aaron out. And that there shouldn't be that, like, you can't lose all 33 of De'Aaron's points, because that's essentially what's happened.
Yeah.
De'Aaron averaging 30 points per game. You lost all of them.
Yeah.
No one made up for any of it.
Yeah.
And the cold footnote to all of this, Trysta, is your defense still sucks.
Defense still sucks, and now the offense is 30 points a game worse. We can't have that. I'm used to Sacramento Kings basketball, which is like putting up 135, 137, 141, fun stuff. Even in L's, like, I'd rather have the team go out gunning.
Yeah, because you lost playing your way.
Yeah, and I feel like maybe it's just me, but I feel like there's been such this emphasis from Mike Brown, and what I'm seeing on Twitter is like defense, defense, defense. And we got to be a better defensive team. It's like, well, really, I don't know if that's necessarily true, considering that the regular season defense really doesn't matter that much. And during the playoffs, it felt like the Kings played great defensive basketball overall. Strap Steph in games 1 and 2, like, really played hard on the perimeter. Andrew Wiggins was kind of up and down. So it feels like the identity shifted away from this, like, high amount of assists, high pace. And I was asked last night, like, when do you start worrying about Sacramento? And I go, well, I need De'Aaron Fox to be back before I can judge what this team really is. I need 15 to 20 games of De'Aaron Fox in the lineup for me to say what this team is.
I mean, Trysta, I was saying that all summer. Like, defense, it's cool. Like, I understand in theory what everybody's talking about, but that's not who these guys are. These guys put up buckets. That's what they do. And they play timely defense. And sometimes that's good enough to win. Sometimes it's good enough to get you beat, because timely defense isn't necessarily championship defense. But I've agreed with you from the start in that situation. And I had the tweet the other day where it felt like it was early. It's 5 games. At the time, it was 5 games. Now it's 6. But De'Aaron Fox had missed 2 games in a row, so you want to be careful. But it felt like the Kings and Mike Brown and everybody was so caught up in being this team that they need to be. Everybody said they need to be, as opposed to being who you are. And they look lost. They don't even know who they are. It's like the guy Malcolm X. Or who said it? Malcolm X said it, right? When he asked him, he said, "Who are you?" And he said, I don't know who I am. When he said, that's the Kings. They don't know who they are right now. I'll let you speak here, but I want to hear what you say about this. You can say all you want about Mike D'Antoni never won a championship. There's obviously nothing we can say about that. But I loved how, for the most part, he came out, his team's like, we're going to get buckets. And we're going to win. Try and keep up if you can. More times than not in the regular season, the teams couldn't keep up. And, yeah, while they didn't win a championship, these guys were progressing in the playoffs. Like, they were losing in conference finals and things of that nature. I wish the Kings would have took that approach going into this season of, we scored 117 to 120. Keep up if you can.
Yeah, I think that's right. And I think that's the personnel that you have, right? And so until the players are different, you kind of have to rock with, okay, this is what we are. And yeah, you should probably improve and not just get cooked like your name's Dame Lillard when screens come your way.
Wow.
That was a shot.
Wow.
He's getting the media right now is that. Got him on the hibachi right now. I was joking, by the way, real quick side note. I was joking with my friend at the bank, and I was like pretending to be Dame on the phone with his agent. I was like, you told me it's a small market over there in Milwaukee. You told me that the media protects their players over there in Milwaukee. You told me they're the number 1 defense. I don't have to play any defense. And now I'm getting cooked. They said it's embarrassing. I'm embarrassing this team. This never happened to me when I was in Portland.
Yeah, I feel like you're enjoying this too much. You're enjoying this too much.
Cam Thomas put 45 on the Reds.
Yeah. In fairness, Cam Thomas put 45 on everybody when he's given an opportunity.
Guys, I don't think you're gonna like my segment for tomorrow. I don't think you're gonna like it.
Why?
We can't elevate unethical basketball, which is Cam Thomas. Like if the Brooklyn Nets having to rely their offense on Cam Thomas tells me everything to do with what's going on over there, which means the situation is rotten. And there's a bunch of beta boys allowing Cam Thomas to shoot the ball 33 times. 33 times per game. He's shooting the ball more times per game than anyone else in the NBA, and his name is not Devin Booker or Jason Tatum or Luka or any of the stars. His name is Cam Thomas.
He is a bucket, though.
He's a chucker, and we can substitute those things for one another, but we know they're not the same.
He's a bucket.
He's a chucker. And defenses, they're not planning for Cam. They're saying, let him shoot. Let him shoot. Let's get some transition buckets off those 30-footers.
Brooklyn averaging 117.6 points per game. Giving up 117.9. They're 3-4 so far in the season.
Yep. Yes, they are. It's a mess over there. It's a mess.
What do you say, Trysta, to I mean, this is ugly. Last night was ugly. It was as embarrassing as it gets. It was as frustrating as it gets. Still 6 games in. And you've seen the league a lot. There are a lot of times there's sometimes when people play like the Warriors and the Mavericks where they come out cooking. There's other times when some teams, it may take them 2 or 3 weeks to get a footing for their new roster or, maybe new expectations or anything like that. Like we asked earlier, like kind of what the panic level is. I don't even know if that was the right term Jesse used, but I said I was at a 3 out of 10. Damien said 4.5, 5 or something like that. Where do you stand on it being early still?
I'm somewhere between you two. I'm probably at like a 4. Remember last year for the first 3 weeks of the season, Utah was number 1 in the West, and then the Pelicans were number 1 in the West.
Portland was number 1 in the West.
Portland was number 1. I mean, these were just teams that very clearly are not real contenders, and we're seeing that right now with the Mavericks at 6-1. The Mavericks are paper tigers. They haven't played anybody, so the schedule obviously matters. The history of the team and the continuity of the roster matters to me. The coaching continuity matters to me. Mike Brown is a dog. I think he's going to figure it out. De'Aaron Fox, he's a dog. They have a bunch of guys who are very gritty, very resilient. And I think the taste of winning last year is enough to keep things in the positive direction. So I'm not worried at all about this team. I think, yes, there's been too much of an emphasis on defense, but again, you're talking about being without your star player, and we don't know when he's coming back. Remember last year, or for the first 20 games of the season, we were all like, the Nuggets are cooked. Jokic was saying Jamal Murray sucks right now coming back from injury. He literally said Jamal Murray is going to suck for the first 25 to 30 games of the season. So come at me in what do you got? 6 games, you said? 5? Yeah, 6 games. Probably I need 25 more games.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, speaking of, the Nuggets are going to be without Jamal Murray for a little while.
Yeah.
We haven't touched on that. He's got
it was a hammy, right?
Hamstring issue. Yeah. They don't have a timetable or anything. So, the whole West will be healthy except for the Sacramento Kings is blowing up in a lot of writers' faces, though I'm sure they're pretty happy with the way the Kings are performing or not. So far.
Yeah, I don't want to hear nobody talking about the Kings on the podcast or write no articles about them, because then nobody write about them when they was 2-1. So don't come a week later and start talking about them on your hoop collectives. Fall back.
They can't wait. They can't wait.
I think they're low-key Kings fans on the hoop collective, though. I do.
Huh?
I think Windhurst trying to get in our good graces, but McMahon is not, and that other group absolutely is not.
Well, they even call him a wet blanket on their own show.
He is always a wet blanket.
He's got a lot of negative. He's about as cynical as they come. I did love how much he went off on Killian Hayes. He said that the Pistons need to shoot him into the moon.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, oh my God, let me rewind this. Did he say what I've been thinking? Hold up.
still nicer than what you said about Cooper Flag and Slam Magazine.
They
That
did
was an
not.
all-time segment, by the way, if y'all have not heard that yet. That was an all-timer.
They didn't do him very many favors. You know, when he's your great white hope, you don't want him becoming the great white Charlottesville. Like, you just don't want that.
Strong Charlottesville vibes to that photo spread. Strong Charlottesville vibes. Very odd choices by everybody involved. What team are you most surprised with, or what team are you most enjoying, like 6-7 games into the season?
So I would say I'm looking at the standings. I think number one is probably I'm slightly encouraged and excited about the Timberwolves. Number one defense right now in the NBA. And, I don't care that much about it, but Anthony Edwards looks like Michael Jordan reincarnated out there. He's strapping Tatum with 5 fouls, jawing at him. They're figuring some things out in terms of how to use Rudy Gobert on the floor without him getting exposed. Like, they're using a lot more switches versus him in drop coverage, all the nerd stuff, right? Karl Anthony Towns, he's exposed himself as someone who's probably not going to play a ton. He gets traded. Played really, really well against the Nuggets. The question that I have for the Timberwolves is like, yes, you get up for the Nuggets. Yes, you get up for the Celtics. How are you doing up against the Utah Jazz? How are you doing up against the Blazers? Because they drop games to teams that they shouldn't lose to. I would say, obviously, I had this debate with Jason Smith from ESPN 929 Odyssey Station, out of Memphis. And I think Memphis could be the worst roster in the NBA. I'm very surprised that you look at that roster and you're like, wow, there's nobody on this team that I want outside of the starters. Not one. So they're intriguing. And then I think for me also another team that I'm like a little bit surprised about, not really, but the Pacers. We knew they were going to be fun. They're putting buckets on everybody.
Yeah, 153 last night.
They're scoring a ton.
Getting them up.
Now they might occasionally give up 150 in the process, but that's all right.
Yeah, deal with that when you get there. That's what I'm been trying to tell Mike Brown and them boys.
They're 500. They could be a 500 team.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. Shavano, I think, was like 5 of 6 from 3 last night off the bench.
He's played well in Indiana.
He's back on the bench. Yeah,
that's where he should be. Benedict Mathurin, I'm starting to feel like.
Now you want to talk about a chucker?
Not a winning player. I'm so glad we don't have him.
You got 2 buddies now. Jeez.
I am in love with Shaedon Sharpe. I think he's maybe my favorite player in the league. He's T-Mac. He's Kobe. He's everything that you could want. He's playing the most amount of minutes in the league. He's blocking shots that he should not even be able to get to.
He's the truth.
He is the truth. And he's so nice. You could tell he's one of those guys that would just dunk all over you and would be like, hey, I'm really sorry I had to do that. Like, he was just right there for me. I didn't know, like, the lob. I didn't even see you there.
You guys know I always got love for Shaedon, man. I always got love for Shaedon. I see him doing his thing up there in Portland. That's my boy.
Well, I know someone that Trysta's a fan of that you used to ridicule. Like, where's Scotty Barnes on your favorite player list?
Oh, Scotty Barnes balling.
He won the Hemi Award of the week. Scotty Barnes single-handedly brought the Toronto Raptors back from being down 20-something points. Scotty Barnes looked like he was locked up, like Akon. He had 3 points in like the second quarter. He's averaging 21. All of a sudden, just goes nuclear. And I don't know if you guys just saw the recent clip with Dennis Schroeder in some podcast where they were asking him about the final seconds in the fourth quarter. And they were drawing up a play for Scotty Barnes to get into the paint and maybe like draw some contact. And he's like, or I could just step back 3 it. And he did. Step back 3, whap. His stats are through the roof.
He's elevated his game. He looks good out there. I love what I'm seeing from Scotty Barnes. You know who I like to watch? At least for right now. Right now, you know who I like to watch. I don't know how long this is going to last. I kind of like watching Charlotte. Maybe because I like LaMelo Ball. And Brandon Miller has actually been playing well.
He had like 2 good games. Didn't Brandon Miller was terrible last game.
I guarantee that's going to be a Trysta gif, by the way. That face Trysta just made is going to wind up as a
7 points, 3 for 12, 0 for 5, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 1 steal against the Mavericks. Woo-wee, that's stinky. PU.
Better than Scoop.
Scoot, by the way, we are not doing this. And Scoot's been injured for 2 games. Last game, he had 11,
Got
4
injured in
for 10,
Summer League,
7
too.
assists.
Is this a trend? Got injured in Summer League. Now season started. He injured again. Is this a trend?
You know what's a trend?
Oh my! Oh my! Where? I don't know how to do the play-by-play on that one for the radio audience. You just got to
Gave him the middle finger. You know what? That's a trend. Take that. Sit on it and spin, Kenny.
You just got to go see it on YouTube, I guess.
I like Scoot. I like Brandon Miller though. I like his. I don't like I said. I don't know if it's gonna last with Charlotte because they probably won't be good. But I like watching LaMelo play. LaMelo in that Mavericks game I was watching had like 20 in the fourth quarter. I'm a fan of LaMelo. I like watching him play.
I think LaMelo had even more than that in the fourth quarter. I think he had 4 points, and he ended up with 30.
Damn.
26, 10, and 13. Save him. Someone save him. Trade him.
Point out, Minnesota beat Boston.
Yes, gave them their first
Boston, and beat Denver too.
Yes.
Gave Denver their first loss.
Ant-Man is going crazy right now, man.
Yeah, so that's I think low key as long as everybody understands he's the dude on that team, they could be just fine.
Meat and potatoes. Rudy, you are potatoes. Cat, you are the broccolini. Cat, maybe you're disposable. Some nights we don't have broccolini. You know what I mean? Ant-Man is the prime rib.
I don't like the way people be talking about Cat. Cat can come to Sacramento.
Cat can come to Sacramento if he wants to, but he wouldn't be the best.
He was broccolini in Sacramento as well.
He can come to Sacramento.
Yeah, I mean, Trista's right.
People say like
here too.
People say like you can't win with Cat.
You
like, you need to get rid of him.
No.
That's
Don't do that. Don't do that.
That's how people be talking about Cat. Cat can come here.
No, you do this all of the time. You talk about he can't be the number one player on a team that wins a championship. Karl Anthony Towns can't be the number one player. I think that's the thing. Anthony Edwards is the number one player.
He's number one.
Yeah.
Cat has shown no signs in 2 years that he had a problem with that.
No, it's fine as long as he continues.
So I don't know why I keep coming up.
Well, as long as he continues to show no signs that he's not the best player on that team and that's not his team, then the Minnesota Timberwolves will be just fine.
He ain't shown no signs of the contrary. I don't know why I keep coming up with people.
Okay. Well, he shot 20 times against the Nuggets. I don't think that's broccolini status. That's at least mashed potatoes.
I wish somebody would shoot 20 times over here.
25 times against the Raptors. Goodness gracious. Woo.
Apparently, we need some more broccolini in Sacramento. Shoot, what if Cat's broccolini, what the hell is Harrison?
Asparagus.
Oh, definitely asparagus.
Hold on, what's wrong with asparagus?
Well, if you don't have the right enzymes in your body, your pee smells.
Well, okay. That's not it's not inaccurate, but
there's nothing wrong with asparagus. It's just all about,
Harrison for me,
strokes.
he'd be peas. I don't like peas. Well, I like Harrison,
Wow.
but I don't like peas.
Wow.
I don't like peas. Peas are disgusting.
I love peas.
Ah.
Mix them with some butter, some what's that called? The melted butter, just like melt it up, little ghee, little salt, little tahini.
Peas are trash. Let this be the title of the show today. Peas are trash.
I disagree with that, but they're not my favorite at all. And I don't like the asparagus slander that took place.
I like asparagus better than peas.
People were asking for the no card. There's the no card. Casey hates Harrison, Sasha, and the ladies.
And peas. It should be Casey hates Harrison, Sasha, Puka, and peas.
Peas.
I'm not gonna object to that one. Definitely hate peas. My grandmother used to try to make me eat them. Said nope.
How about the Heat? What did I tell you guys about the Heat?
Yeah, they stink. I was actually going to ask about the 76ers. Were we wrong about them?
Might have been.
So here's the question that I have. So we see Scotty Barnes ascending, right? Clearly, Nick Nurse and him didn't get along. And Scotty Barnes regressed in his sophomore year after winning Rookie of the Year. And he was playing those guys like 6-man rotations. Everyone's getting 38 minutes. He's asking Scotty to play 1 through 5, guard 1 through 5. And so obviously it wasn't working. But now, so I thought maybe Nick's just not as good as we thought he was. And then he goes to the Sixers with the whole new, roster, a whole new situation. And all of a sudden, Tobias Harris is reincarnated. He has risen from the ashes like a phoenix, playing some good basketball, by the way. Tyrese Maxey is shooting like 8 threes a game. He is getting more dribble handoffs than he had all year last year. Joel Embiid still MVP status, and they didn't do anything with their roster. They lost Bang Bang Niang. They lost somebody else too.
Niang never makes a shot. I watched the Cavs like four times this year.
Terrible.
He never makes a shot.
They've got massive cap flexibility in the offseason. They've got a bunch of picks. Nick Batum's going to help them. He will. Absolutely. Nick Batum on-ball defense in the playoffs is nasty. You guys have seen it. He gets all up into your body, and makes it a nightmare for you.
So addition by subtraction is a real thing then.
I was going to make a Dwight Howard joke, but I didn't.
Oh, man.
Leave Dwight out of this. Leave him out of this.
Dwight's having a hard enough time. He's picking fights with 50 Cent and Cameron and don't.
Yo, Camel Wild Boy
don't pick fights you can't
for
win.
messing with Joe Smith's wife like that.
Yo, that was
Camel Wild Boy.
I can't believe we haven't had a deeper discussion on Joe Smith and his OnlyFans wife. I kind of like reading the full story. Like I kind of felt bad for him, so I didn't want to like have too much fun with it. Like Joe Smith made a lot of money in the NBA, and I guess they don't have most of it anymore. And the missus.
She's just trying to contribute. Men are always saying we got to contribute. She's finding a way.
How did he not know she had an OnlyFans?
People want to know, don't ask, don't tell, baby.
Is the whole backstory true about her past?
That she had
employment?
One before. I believe so, because didn't she say you knew what I was when you met me or when we got together? I mean, I don't mean to use the too short line, but is that what we're talking about? If you know it, you know it. I ain't gonna say it.
I ain't gonna say it either. But yeah,
So they broke up. They're done now. They've called it quits.
Oh
no,
because they've split 5 days ago. They've split because of the OnlyFans.
Well,
yeah.
I do think though, probably telling him before you do it, or at least like inform thing.
That's fair. That is fair. Like, hey, I'm gonna start this. I don't want you to find out, on the web somewhere. Like, hey, I got this going on. Just give him a heads up, and then let him make his decision after that.
Like it's like, hey, babe, I want to send our kid to private school, and you spent all of our money on blow. So I'm thinking about starting an OnlyFans. I don't know. I just made that up. That's
fine.
I was like, it's a hypothetical. That's just between me and you. It's a hypothetical.
Yep.
And so whatever. I don't know anything about what that is, right? I just made it up. Yep. And so, hey, I'm thinking about creating a little OnlyFans. Like, what do you think? And then it's like, hell no. And it's like, well, what else? What else do you want me to do?
So the other question to that though, and the other aspect of that is, if she was gonna do the OnlyFans, like, because that sounds like, I'm thinking about doing this. What do you think? Well, what if he says no? I'm gonna do it anyway. Like, it should be more
probably
like,
in the same exact position you are right now.
Yeah, it's like not even what do you think? It's like, hey, I'm about to do this. I'm just giving you a heads up.
Yeah.
Like, because if you ask and they say no, but you're already gonna do it anyway, then yeah.
Well, it's kind of like what happens when sometimes I ask my producer for stuff and then he tells me no. I'm like, well, wasn't really a question. It was just me being nice,
Yeah.
I asked for this guest, but really go get him,
I'm telling you to do this.
Hey, I booked this guy. Like, Sam Vecini's coming on. Like, I know that we have another NBA guest, but like, he's coming on. And so it's just what hour,
So I think I'll just speak for myself. I may have been wrong about the Sixers.
Yes.
We're abandoning the OnlyFans conversation.
It was a wild pivot.
I was wrong about the Sixers. Might have been wrong about the Mavericks. I know.
No, you're not. No.
Oh,
okay. Well, that's to be determined. Were we wrong about the Lakers?
it doesn't look as good as we thought it was going to look.
Yeah, it doesn't. But I think Trysta is telling you to calm down on the Mavericks because they're going to fall apart. Is that fair?
I liked their
Yes.
win yesterday.
I'll
That was a
say
good win.
That's because
Second
you
game
love
of-
the Magic.
And Magic have been playing well. But second game of back-to-back, it was on the road.
Yep.
On the road. They went into Orlando, who was up by about 15 in that game. Dallas had to come back and get that victory. I'm not going to sneeze at that win. I'm not going to sneeze at
Let
that
me
win.
just say this really fast.
Tristan,
They
you like
have
Orlando.
not beaten a team that isn't known for or currently experiencing wild dysfunction and toxicity. Spurs, they are really that I would say that they're the only shining light of like a good organization that they've played. So the Spurs, good win. It's Wemby's first game, and you beat them by 6. Okay, so we'll call that a little bit of like a golf clap win. You play the Nets, which are in absolute disarray. That organization from top to bottom has no structure or order, and people, even like James Harden, don't think it's enough structure. You play in the Grizz, which we already know what time it is with the Grizz. You play the Bulls. You beat the Bulls only by 8, and the Bulls had a players only meeting after 1 game.
Kings might need one.
You play the Nuggets, you get smacked. Then you play the Hornets, barely beat the Hornets.
Yeah, should have lost to them.
And probably should have lost. And then your best win is against the Magic when you were down at one point in that game by 20.
Yeah, Orlando should have won that game.
That's not, name me one quality win.
TBD.
I do like Derek Lively.
I like Kyrie.
Of course you like Kyrie, of course.
Kyrie, a point guard right now. 19 points, 8 assists.
Yeah, he balling, and Luka doing what Luka do. I think there's a lot of TBD.
Yes.
Or the Lakers, the Mavericks, the 76ers,
Yes.
and the Sacramento Kings.
Absolutely.
The Pelicans.
Nothing to be determined with Trysta Krick, though. You can check her out on the Heat Check podcast and Bet MGM tonight.
And my OnlyFans. No, I'm just